So if you're looking to start a podcast, whether it's in your studio at home or you want a podcast on the go, get out there and podcast, whether it's just you or a guest or co-host. I have got some recommendations for you here with a variety of budgets, and everything that I'm recommending has multiple use cases. So let's get into it. What is up, you beautiful humans? Welcome back to this channel. I have missed you so much. And for the filmmakers out there, I'm working on some content right now. I just need to pivot back to the podcasting community here and let you know that I have got some recommendations for on-the-go podcasting setups. Plenty of people have DM'd me and emailed me about on the go, getting out in their communities, podcasting, whether it's just themselves or a co-host and a guest, the run and gun style podcasting. And so I've got the recommendations starting with the smallest budgets, and every piece of gear here also has multiple uses, because I'll tell you what, every time you invest in your gear, you should be able to use it multiple ways. Starting off with the most obvious and most basic is the smartphone. Most of us have smartphones, and I know many of you be like, I know I can record, I can just talk into my phone and record that and then edit it later, and that's my podcast. Well, maybe, because the thing is that folks will forgive questionable video quality, but what's really hard to forgive is terrible audio. So we are going to up our game a little bit here, and I am going to recommend the Rode VideoMicro. And yes, you might see this on top of people's cameras, whether they're vlogging, so they're holding their camera up, and this is either on a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, or people's smartphones that they're vlogging around. Yes, so that, of course, is a use case that we know we can use it other than podcasting, but what we can do is download a free app called Auphonic, and we get this nice little record button here, and what we will do, get a nice little tripod, and I'll link everything up, and we will hit record. And right now, I am actually recording in the Rode VideoMicro. So this is my voice coming out of the Rode VideoMicro. You can see the levels going up and down, and that is going to allow you to get much better audio than what is built into your phone. Now, if we want to actually edit this information, we do get it in a .wav file, and it'll actually compress it down to a .m4, which should be able to be edited in your software program, whether on a Mac or Windows. I'll link up a couple of options. I always recommend trying to edit on your computer or a tablet. You could edit this on your phone. So there is an edit option. We're going to edit. And right there, I've got a red line that I have selected here. So that's the start of the selection. And then we are going to go to the end of that selection and hit end selection. And it's going to highlight that section there. So like that's just dead space, that's dead air. I don't want that in there. Then we are going to hit cut. And it just cuts the end off there. Now, a couple of things that I need to mention with this microphone setup is that when you order it, you will only get this cable. So this is the black ends here. These are TRS connections. And so one goes in the back of the microphone and then the other one goes into your camera. However, for smartphones, you need a TRRS cable. So in this scenario here, this is the gray tip, and it has an additional ring, and I will link that up below, because what happens is that when you plug this into your headphone jack of your smartphone, it converts that headphone jack into actually a microphone. It's kind of like wearing earbuds, and you can hear people, but you can also talk with your earbuds. It just kind of works that way. And yes, for the adapters, if you need a Type-C adapter or a Lightning adapter for the iPhone users or Android users that don't have the headphone jack, yes, you can use the adapters and it should still work just fine and pick up the audio from this microphone. Another thing that I need to mention too is that there is an adapter for the bottom of the microphone so that it can fit on top of a tripod, and it's just this little bag of adapters and extensions and things like that. For the filmmakers out there, I always recommend it. It's very inexpensive, and even if you're podcasting and you want to even do a video podcast, there's oftentimes you may find that you need some of these little adapters. I will link those up below. You don't necessarily need the tripod. You could just hold the microphone in front of you if you need to. I just kind of like to be able to set it up on a tabletop or somewhere so that I'm not always having to hold it and then creating that noise by rubbing on the mic or rubbing on the dead cat. Now, if you've been around the channel quite a bit, and I know that some of you have, I always recommend for the next setup is the ATR, Audio-Technica 2100. This is the microphone that I'm talking on right now. And this is actually something that, to start out, so you're moving up, getting better audio quality. It's a dynamic microphone, so it actually helps just focus on the sound of my voice here. It has a cardioid pattern, and there's background rejection. So as I've moved away from the mic, you can hear that my voice is like it's dampened. So, but as I get in front of the mic, it's great because it's a lot of that background noise that can feed into your microphone, and the dynamic microphones are great for that setup. This actually comes with a USB cable so that you can plug it directly into your computer. And as I said, I will link up some software options for you, whether Mac or Windows, and you can just set this up, take your laptop with you, and record directly into your computer. Now, for those of you who have asked me before, can I record with two separate mics on the same computer? Yes. For macOS, it's an aggregate connection that you will set up. It's built into the software. I will link up a video that's not mine, but someone else's to help you set that up. And for the Windows users, you do have to set up a virtual mixer, a free software like a plugin that I will link that up below. But yes, like I could be sitting here. Let's say that I'm in somebody's office and I'm sitting here and they're sitting across from me. I would just set them across from me here. That way we get that background rejection, right? So that if I'm talking, it's not picking up as much. But I did, and we'll link up a video, but I did do a video on cleaning up that background noise and cleaning up the other person's audio when you're in the same room. So check that out after this video. But yes, you can connect two mics to a Mac or a Windows. It just takes a little finagling. It is possible, and I will link all of that information up. Now, when you are ready to move up to what I call the setup of all time, the way to go, run and gun, whether in the studio, out and about, doing interviews, traveling, I recommend getting a handheld recorder that you can record to internally, because the ATR 2100, yes, it can be connected via USB, but it also has XLR plugins. And what that does is it really does help you level up your game a bit. It's a balanced connection, and you plug it into the back of this microphone, and then you plug it into the handheld that is recording internally here. Now, I've got the Zoom H6, and this can record up to 6 different people. So 6 different channels that I can set. That's kind of overkill for a lot of people. I will give you some lower budget options of handhelds out there. There's the H4n, I believe, the H5, and the H6 is kind of at the top of that when it comes to handheld recorders. But as I said, multiple use cases. I also use this with things like these microphones that just go on. So they just plug right into the handheld themselves, and I can actually do this talking head information and get better audio by using these capsules. There's another one here. So whether you're doing video work and you want to actually use this setup, like right now I'm talking into my microphone, it's recording into the handheld, but I can also set this module up on top, this capsule on top. And if I don't have a microphone, I'm doing a little bit of run and gun interview style or something different with a podcast, I can also interview somebody with these microphones. And it's not going to be perfect audio, but it's going to be a heck of a lot cleaner with these capsules than it would be if I were to try to interview them just straight up with a smartphone, just using the built-in microphone. I love the fact that this is hardware based. So essentially, when you are out there, you can control the ins and outs of your audio, your guest's audio, and then feed that out to a headphone so that you can monitor that audio while you're doing all that recording. There is an SD card in here that once you're done, you pull that out, put it in your computer, pull that information out, and put it into your editor. Now, of course, I also did a video with this handheld recorder, setting it up so that if you want to record virtual co-hosts and guests, you can do that through Skype. I will link that up as well, but it is a very versatile piece of tech that you can use multiple ways. Now, what I want to say to you is get down in those comments and hit me up with those questions. Let me know what's happening. If you like this information, hit that like button, subscribe for more of this content. If you didn't like it, feel free to actually hit the dislike button and then maybe go out and give somebody a hug. But I'll, make sure that you're asking for permission first. But hey, If that's the case, I hope your day gets better. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Go out there and rock faces. Keep doing those things. And I really appreciate your time and attention. And I'll catch you right back here on the next one.